I, 45, am currently divorced from my ex Thomas, 47, of 30 years. We ended up seeing a lawyer to help with dividing stuff. Everything was pretty much wrapped up till he said he no longer wanted any part of our kids' lives, 5 and 12. I didn't argue with him about it since I already know what it's like having a parent who doesn't want you around or wants to be in your life. I asked what he wanted me to tell the kids and he just said, "Whatever you think is best, I don't care. I don't want to parent anymore." Everything was in agreement and signed with no fuss. A few weeks later I get a call from my ex-mill asking if we could meet each other. When I came over she broke down crying and begging to let my ex see his kids again. I was confused about what she meant because not once did he contact me after meeting the lawyer. She went on about how my ex said he really missed them and that I was just a petty idiot for taking full custody. Also that he was crying for days about it. I told her my version of events and she called it bullcrap, saying her son wouldn't lie like that, especially not about his kids. Then I decided to call him in front of her. He didn't know she and I were meeting that day. I said, "Hey, 5, has a soccer game in a few days," which he did, and I was wondering if you wanted to go. I know he'd really love it and be happy to see you. He instantly said no. I already said I'm not doing this anymore. I raised my voice a bit saying, "Well, what about holidays and birthdays, because we never discussed any of it and your family might want to see them." He just said, "My family already thinks the kids aren't mine anyways, so it doesn't matter." I asked, "Well, how do you think this is going to affect Denise, his mom?" "She is over the moon about them." He just said, "She loves me more than the kids, so I doubt this will be an issue for her." After a bit more talking we finally hung up. Ex-Mill was straight-faced and nodded at everything that just happened, saying okay. She asked me to leave and said we would be in touch. Later that day I got a call from my ex saying how it's my fault he was kicked out of his mom's house and possibly will be taken off her will. Also that none of his family members will talk to him because of what ex-Mill heard. He threw a lot of insults at me before I hung up and now he and his mates keep calling and texting me. My friend is saying I shouldn't have said anything in the first place and I ruined his life. Not the idiot. You merely did not lie for him. He made his crappy choices and you didn't lie for him. Maybe you could have stood your ground without involving him and he could have stood there and cried wolf about how you're a crazy idiot, which you most certainly are. Beautiful, intelligent, talented, charming and honest. Unlike his lying butt, he has to face the consequences of his own actions. AKA lying to his mother. He did this to himself. You just didn't help cover for him. Not the idiot. He tried to destroy your reputation and make you look bad for the sake of his own ego, and now his mother knows straight from the source what his true feelings are. The only thing you did was place him in the perfect trap. That wasn't that much of a trap, actually, since he seemed pretty eager to immediately declare how little interest he has in being a parent. By the way, good on his mom for immediately kicking him out. Some people would have allowed themselves to be emotionally manipulated by their kids after something like that, and at least she seems to know the score. Not the idiot. That guy needed a swift kick in the butt and maybe grew up a little that day. Sorry you're having to bear the weight of single parenthood, but agree your kids are better with one parent who loves them versus having to spend time with another who really only cares about themselves. Maybe he'll come around when he matures a little, but he better hope that if it happens, it'll happen soon, or else the scar tissue of his actions will set like stone in the hearts of his 2 kids. I, 30 female, am married to my husband Joey, 34. We both have daughters from previous relationships. My daughter's name is Haley, 10, and his daughter's name is Jenna, 11. Both of our daughters are cheerleaders for different teams. We recently just had their competition where the winners of first and second place go to compete in Disney. I have been saving all year since Haley's team is really competitive. Joey didn't save for it because Jenna is on a smaller town team that's not very competitive. Haley's team unfortunately did not win their competition this year. Jenna's team did win theirs. Haley, my husband, and I were all proud of her and congratulated her. Later that night my husband asked me about finances for the Florida trip. We have always kept finances for the girls separate, as I pay for Haley and he pays for Jenna. I explained that since Haley's team didn't win I figured her and I could go do something instead with the money I saved for Florida. Haley doesn't know this was my plan yet. My husband thinks I'm being selfish and an idiot because Jenna's team did win and we should use that same money for her to go. I think Haley could use a pick-me-up. I know people might ask about Jenna's mother and she is not able to help financially for Jenna to go. We have already spoken to her. Also, if any of the girls on the team cannot go to Florida, then the team has to forfeit. The team might do some fundraising, but the expense will be on the parents. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He should have been saving his money just like you did. He is an idiot for assuming his daughter wouldn't make it to the end. I'm sorry, but you are under no obligation to finance his trip with his daughter. He is an idiot for even asking, unless he is borrowing and plans to pay it all back. You guys obviously keep personal money and joint bill money separated. Every family functions differently. If this is what works for you, it's all good. You have been saving your own money while he hasn't been saving anything. He doesn't get automatic access to what is yours. Everyone's the idiot here. You're a family, that means being partners and helping each other out. Not give each other the "you made your bed so you better lay in it" attitude. Joey is an idiot for not thinking ahead and saving up for Jenna. However, if you simply take the money to go on a trip with Haley and not try to help Jenna at all, you would be an even bigger idiot. Your husband shouldn't expect you to simply hand over the money you saved all year to give to Jenna. However, at the same time, this trip sounds like it's a big opportunity and much more important than a pick-me-up for Haley. Can you not lend Joey the money for the trip, and he can pay you back slowly over time? Not the idiot. Something tells me he would leave you high and dry if things were reversed. He knew this was coming but in no way prepared for the chance it would. He asked right away after the competition and is guilting you into feeling like a bad mother for not taking care of his daughter. In what way is he holding himself responsible for his actions? He is too busy laying his guilt on you so he doesn't have to feel bad for his actions. My mom and I are in therapy right now with my stepdad. She met him when I was 7 and she moved my brothers and I with her when I was 8 to be with him and his daughters. My dad had been dead a couple of years at that point and we left our maternal and paternal families behind. At the time she sat my brothers and I down and told us that she wanted us to be a family and that my dad's family did not want to welcome my now stepdad and his girls into our family and treat the girls like their grandkids. She said that stepdad had told her how the girls had already been rejected by their mom and the only grandparents they knew and that we needed to go to them so they wouldn't be around more rejection via my dad's family. What I didn't know then but do now is my stepdad's kids were planned with his wife, but she could not have them biologically so they used an egg donor. But she ended up not being able to get over the lack of biology and left and her parents didn't consider them grandkids either so all 3 were gone before the girls were 5. They were like 3 and 4 at the time. So my mom moved the 4 of us 18 hours away from home to set up a new home with stepdad. She left a really good job and friends, which was her sacrifice. My brothers and I were never okay with this. They were especially resentful of it and there was a lot of fighting between them and our mom over the years, and them and our stepdad. They both chose to move home once they finished high school. They were also very outspoken to mom that the sacrifice she always talked about as being worth it wasn't to them. Mom and my stepdad started to realize in the last year that I wasn't likely to be the one to stay local after high school either. My mom also noticed how snappy I could be with her and my stepdad when it came to my extended family. It's true. Whenever my stepdad would ask me to not talk about my paternal family around his girls, or to hide stuff they sent from the girls, it would piss me off because he was the one who asked for them not to be around. And I get annoyed with my mom for similar reasons because she made the choice. So we started therapy. I have opened up about my feelings somewhat over the last few weeks. Then in our last 2 sessions it came up that mom just wanted us all to enjoy the good that came from our sacrifice and to feel it was truly all worth it. I said it wasn't worth it to me. That the loss of having my extended family around me was not made up by having a stepdad and stepsisters, and if anything, it was the reason I had never grown to love them, because having them meant not having the people I actually loved and they weren't worth that, to me. The therapist had me leave the room because my mom was getting angry, last session, and afterward mom and stepdad told me that I was being so unfair and cruel. Mom told me she did her best and all 3 of us had punished her for trying to be happy. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Let me get this straight, you were moved away from your family not too long after your dad had passed away because the stepfather's kids did not feel accepted? I am not surprised you're annoyed. During grief and at such a young age, you need family around you. Your mother did this completely selfishly, uprooting yours and your brother's lives to appease your stepdad. Yes, you could argue that it's not fair that the grandparents didn't accept the kids, but at the same time that should have never been made to feel like your issue. Not the idiot. Your stepfather and stepsisters were your mother's choice, not yours and your brother's. Sacrificing contact with your extended family to appease your stepfather's idea of fairness towards his daughters was again your mother's choice, not yours or your brother's. Your mother's claim that she did her best is bullcrap. She did what was easiest for her to make life work with her new husband and his daughters. This was never about you and your brothers, it was about her and her choices. You and your brothers choosing not to continue playing happy family after graduating high school isn't about punishing her, it's about finally being able to make your own choices. Not the idiot. Therapy is supposed to be a safe space to say what you need to. They have no right to control what you say in that space or to control how you feel. I'm so sorry for all the loss you've suffered. It's really awful that they've tried to compound that loss by not helping you with missing your extended family and having you not talk about your dad's family. And they aren't helping your stepsisters, surely they know other people have grandparents. For context, me, 16, and my stepmom, 48, do not get along and probably never will. My mom and dad broke up when I was 2 and my dad met my stepmom when I was 9. My stepmom, who we'll call M, never really tried to get along with me, and no, my 9-year-old brain just told me that I shouldn't try and get along with her. She would ignore me and make passive-aggressive comments about me and my sister coming over for weekends, which eventually caused my sister to stop going. That and some mocking of my sister's anorexia. Back to the point, during COVID times my dad convinced me to stay for a week in which me and my stepmom seemed to be bonding, so much so that I didn't think twice about typing in my password when she was next to me. After that I would leave my phone to go to the toilet or grab a snack and open my phone to find my messages, Google history or social media open, because she never thought that to close the apps. This started to piss me off because I gave my trust to her and thought we were getting along. It all escalated to her looking at very private talks, which included me talking about my very personal stuff, I hadn't come out yet, and talks about my mental struggles. It all tipped me over the edge, so I decided to figure out a plan to get her to admit to what she'd been doing, because if I told my dad without proof he wouldn't believe me. I would leave my phone open Google with very scandalous searches such as, how to tell your stepmother that your dad is cheating, how to shoplift condoms, how to cover up tattoos with concealer, etc. But the one that caught my stepmother's attention was abortion clinics near me. She sat me down the next day and screamed at me that she knew I was pregnant and called me an easy girl. This caused me to yell back, and when my dad got involved I admitted to everything. My stepmom cried and screamed that I tricked her and that I was an ungrateful sinner. My dad just looked disappointed and told me to call my mom to pick me up. I thought I was in the right, but my dad's reaction made me think otherwise. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The stepmom literally admitted to snooping through your phone for no reason, and your dad is treating you like you're the bad guy. Girl, no, maybe you should give him the cold shoulder for a while until he realizes what his wife did was crappy to you, not the other way around. You typed in various things, your stepmother logged into your phone without your knowledge or permission, and then started screaming at you and calling you names for what was in your browser's cache, without even knowing if you were searching for yourself or a friend. Do I have that right? In doing so, your stepmother outed herself as a snoop, and somehow, in their warped version of reality, you're at fault for her behavior? Not the idiot. I'm sorry, but your dad is spineless as hell as he is. Seriously, he should be stood her for going there your things to begin with, like a real father should have, instead of him trying make you the bad guy when his wife is the problematic one in the situation for caused this mess when she put her nose where it shouldn't been. Seriously, if you have a real good relationship with your mom, tell her about everything, the situation and anything else about stepmom, because it's time for a real adult to get involved. My husband's sister was supposed to be married in September. I chose an item from the registry, but the exact item she had added had a weird detail. She had explicitly mentioned previously needing option A, but on the registry she accidentally listed option B, so I asked her to make sure I got what she needed. So, she knew exactly what I was planning to gift. Sadly, they have now broken up. The gift hadn't shipped yet anyway, so I canceled it. This past week she reached out to me about it. Since she knew I was purchasing it and we live far away, she was concerned that it had been delivered but someone had stolen it. When I explained that I had canceled it, she was pretty upset. My MIL has now reached out to us about it and feels that I was unkind to cancel the order. She feels that since my SIL is clearly going through a difficult time, and the holidays are approaching, it would have been more appropriate to let the gift reach her anyway. Obviously, these are unfortunate circumstances, but this was a substantial gift, $700, and pretty well above the threshold of what I'd normally spend for a typical holiday gift. Before it comes up, I'll mention short and sweet that my husband is in the military and currently deployed, so that's why he isn't a big piece in this puzzle and I'm soloing this awkward adventure. Not the idiot. What the hell? When a wedding is cancelled, you don't give a gift, and any gift received is returned just as the engagement ring is traditionally returned. These are gifts that are contingent upon a condition occurring, that is, a wedding. A pick-me-up for your sister-in-law would be a gift card for a manicure or maybe a facial. Not a $700 gift from the registry. That is an expensive gift even in terms of wedding gift standards. Not the idiot. As everyone here has pointed out, wedding gifts are supposed to be returned to the giver if the wedding is called off. It's one of the most embarrassing and awkward parts of calling off an engagement, but it's also good manners. Your SIL is reacting out of emotions and not logic. Knowing that you cancelled her wedding gift probably triggered her, and she has to face the fact that her relationship is really over. That's not your problem though. Wedding gifts are only given when a wedding takes place. Any gifts received should be returned to the giver in the event that the wedding is cancelled. You absolutely did the proper and right thing in canceling the order before it shipped. Wedding gifts don't become consolation gifts for the grieving bride when the couple splits up. Sorry that she's going through a tough time. Tell your MIL that you'll send a card of well wishes for the holidays.